I like all, as a matter of fact, but I guess the one in Budapest was somewhat, I cannot really forget just because it was my first conference.
I've been trying to think through all of them, and it's difficult to come out with a favorite one. There's some memorable moments. The first time I heard Bruce Schneier speak, my very first conference in Chicago.
Several memorable, but I have to say that the very first one in Seville was the most memorable because it was the first conference, no pun intended. And also I was surprised by the community and the level of the technical level actually.
Well, they all have different favoritisms. I mean, the nice part is you get to travel places, see things, different places. And then there's a lot of new people, so that makes it a lot more fun. But at the same time, you get to see some old friends and continue the acquaintances and relationships you started. So that's the value of FIRST.
And I have to tell you, there's something really special about this one, because clearly I'm fairly new to the FIRST community, and you can see that this one carries a lot of history with it. But then again, going back, I think one of the highlights was definitely shaking hands with the Prime Minister of Thailand at the Bangkok conference.
I would say this was the conference in Karlsruhe back in 1995. Now the reason for this is that because this was my first conference, this was my first contact with this community, which I think is really great. So from that first contact on, I was seeing the community evolve into what it is today.
It was Chicago, 2000.
That's a great city.
Yeah, but it was not really the city, it was the people I met there. That was the major difference, and still the longest relationships that I have came from that conference.
Actually, I had the first conference I attended in Baltimore was really the most impressive.
I'd have to say the conference in Vienna a few years ago.
I believe probably the first one I attended, which was in Kyoto, that was, the most favorite one for me.
2000, Chicago. Since it was my first annual conference.
I have to say Malta, because that's where I come from, but it was good.
You know, my favorite FIRST conference happened to be not one of the global conferences, but a technical colloquia, or TC, that they had in Argentina in Buenos Aires.
My favorite would have to be FIRST Bangkok. It was a great location, but also it was in the middle of a 2-year project, and the interactions with the community and the people who were in attendance at that conference changed the course of the project that I was working on. So it was invaluable to me professionally, and invaluable to me, in the course of completing that work.
It's my 4th conference. So basically I started in Vienna, in Austria. And because of that, I don't have really a preferred one. I like all of them. Each of them were different. Each of them was different. So basically, yeah, I think all of them deserve to be said and mentioned.
If I have to choose one, Bangkok's. It was really amazing that the Prime Minister of the Thailand attended to the first conference, and I could realize that we are living in the cybersecurity age.
I guess it was the first one. That was 1993, St. Louis, and I was pretty young, and I went to this strange conference with all the geeks sitting around, and that was really very interesting.
Hawaii was good. The location, but the conference is normally always very good. I think it's the people that make the conference. And I think that's the key thing.
I mean, there are certain cities we've gone to that I've really enjoyed. Kyoto, the service there was just absolutely amazing. The food in Toulouse was fantastic. The scenery in Malta a couple of years ago, awesome. So they've all been different, but there's something about every one of them that we've always enjoyed.